Hello, Canaan. This is Pastor Daniel. Just bringing our weekly update. It is very good to be back from vacation. Although, as a lot of you heard, we are celebrating and mourning for our brother Mitch Coleman, who went to be with Jesus yesterday. We celebrate because he is with Jesus. He is great. He is in the presence of God. His faith has become sight. And in the book of Psalm, the psalmist writes, how precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of one of his saints. So it was a precious day yesterday. But we also mourn because we love Mitch, and we grieve for Kim and his wife and their children, Casey and Tyler, and extended family and our church family. We love Mitch dearly. But we have so much hope in him. So we'll let you know when services are scheduled to celebrate Mitch's life, to grieve and give our support to Kim and the kids. We'll let you know all those details as they come about. But we do have some updates for this week. This Sunday, July 5th, has several big things going on. First of all, we are increasing our capacity up by about 50 people. So more of you will be able to worship in the worship center together as the restrictions have continued to increase, at least for now. We'll see how that goes long term, but for now, so we're increasing up to about 253 capacity here in the worship center. So go ahead and make sure you're RSVPing for that. The gym will also still be open for overflow. So that's some exciting things going on there. Also, this Sunday is our Student Sunday. So we're celebrating our graduates, since we weren't able to do that back in May or in June because of COVID and restrictions and people traveling. This is the first day, probably the best day we have, where the graduates will all be here to be able to celebrate them together. So that's this Sunday. Also this Sunday, we're celebrating 4th of July. And we're celebrating what God has done in our nation. We're going to pray about our nation, and we're going to have a special message that I will be delivering about what do we as believers do in our current nation, and what's the right question we're to be asking. And that question is, are we on God's side? And so we'll be talking about that this Sunday. So you don't want to miss that, either here live at the worship center, in the gym, or online at the live stream. So make sure you're tuning in 10:30 this Sunday for that. Also, last week, as we looked to plan in the fall and into the summer about when we could possibly, take ourselves to the next level of reopening, including children's ministry, we sent a survey out to some of our workers last week. Those of you that serve in nursery, toddlers, for infant toddlers, 2 to 3 year olds. Thank you for those of you that responded to that survey. For those of you that have not responded yet, we would really appreciate your input. So please go ahead and take some time to do that. Also, there'll be another survey coming out in a few days to parents of infants, toddlers, 2 to 3 year olds, just to kind of help us understand where you're at in your willingness to participate in children's ministry, whether to bring your children, or are you also willing to maybe help out and take a shift in the nursery. So be looking for that survey coming in the next few days, just to help us plan for the coming months as we get ready to look at what that next stage of reopening looks like. Also, there's been a recent push to encourage you to volunteer to help out in our media ministry. And so thank you to those of you that have signed up. It's been helpful, but we're still looking for a few more, still have some opportunity for you to serve. So if that's something that God's placing on your heart, or something you would be willing to consider, it would be super helpful. Such an important ministry, especially in our technological age with COVID and the necessities there to help us get the services and the message out to those that aren't able to be here. So please consider signing up for that, and more information about that will be forthcoming. Also, just a reminder, we've already had the announcement about our VBS alternative. We're doing what's called IncrediWorld, but instead of it being here on location at Canaan, it's going to be in your homes, and it's all online. So if you're in town, if you're out of town on vacation, if you're visiting someone, you'll still be able to participate in our online Vacation Bible School. And so Pastor Martin's working on videos to go along and accompany the curriculum. It's absolutely free for you. And so that we have a total resource page on our church website right now that tells you all about it. So check that out at canaanstl.org. And then also join us tomorrow at lunchtime for our Facebook Live, and where we are actually sitting down with some of our graduates and hearing from them about what has God done in our life here at Canaan and what's He preparing them for. So it'll be great as Pastor Brian Davidson has a conversation with some of our graduates about what's next for them and what have they appreciated about Canaan Baptist Church, and bring them up in the Lord and equipping them to be, citizens in heaven and citizens in our nation. So tune into that tomorrow at noon for our Facebook Live. And then finally, Pastor Martin this past Sunday, he preached on Jesus being the way, the truth, and the life. And so on this email are some questions for you to ponder and look at. So make sure you're talking about those as families, with friends, even in your connection groups, to discuss some application questions, because what an incredible revolutionary truth. Very exclusive claim. Jesus is the way. He's not a way. He is the way. No one, he says, from Jesus' own mouth, no one comes to the Father except through me. What a profound truth. So just begin to discuss that this week in family, with your connection group, even with coworkers, neighbors, to unpack that very strong, powerful passage that Pastor Martin covered this past Sunday. All right, well, can't wait to see all of you again. And for those of you that might be concerned, since we did go to Florida where we were exposed to COVID, we went to a very secluded place. It was no hotels, no condos, no restaurants, no big shops. It was just residential homes. And so we were on the beach, pretty much by ourselves. And so we're fine. We did not have hardly any interaction. We didn't go to a restaurant or anything. We just stayed in the house or on the beach. So we did go deep sea fishing one day, which was fun. But anyway, we had a great time. So thank you again for just all of your prayers and encouragement, support. Thank you for the team here running things in my absence. So anyway, got a great church family. Just excited to be back, excited about this Sunday, and excited about what's coming up in our near and long-term future, what the Lord has for us here at Canaan Baptist Church. We'll see you Sunday.